Hi there. We resume our reviews after the Christmas and New Year break, and I'd like to wish you all Happy New Year, and I hope 2023 will be very productive for you all. The first book of the year is Kisses from Nimbus, a career in the SAS and MI6 by Red Riley, which is a pseudonym. And I actually met the author in the Sergeant's Mess in Hereford some years ago. I had a brief chat to him. One of the things he mentioned was that Graham Wilson, who was the commanding officer of the Rhodesian SAS, had been over to deposit the Rhodesian Mess Silver at Hereford because they were winding up after Mugabe took power. And he said what a great guy he was, and he impressed everyone. I did meet him briefly again later on at an air show when he was demonstrating a powered parachute flying device that he was marketing. So he was the Army Air Corps helicopter pilot assigned to Hereford, the Special Forces flight, one of them anyway, and as such he mainly concentrated on working with the SP team, the counter-terrorist team, on things like building assaults, delivering the guys by abseil, by hover drop, or by free fall onto a target, and doing anything else that Special Forces needed in the way of rotary wing work. Amongst the many things he did at the time was he was involved in the Iranian embassy siege. He flew the HQ element down at the start, down to London from Hereford, to start the whole thing going, and the immediate action plan, if it had all started to go wrong, was to use two helicopters to deliver guys to the front and rear roof of the embassy to start smashing their way in. As it happened, the deliberate action didn't utilise helicopters, and the results were seen on TV, and it was a really successful operation. One of the things he mentioned was on the flight down, he used a special call sign which gave priority and cleared all the way via air traffic control. When the Falklands kicked off, he had been in London with Ian Crook, who was the ops officer at the time, and was recalled to Hereford and quickly put into quarantine for a period of time under the watchful eye of Lofty. And This was a procedure that was done before sensitive operations to make sure there was no leaks. The whole idea is that the SAS could guarantee to the Ministry of Defence or to SIS or anyone else they were working on behalf of that there were no leaks from their side of the operation. Anyway, after kicking around, losing his mind in quarantine, he was taken down to London to SIS headquarters, briefed, and made his way by a civilian airliner to Chile, and to start the process of providing support via covert aircraft means, by hiring aircraft and staging them and so on, to support Operation Plum Duff, which I've referred to in a previous review on the book XF Falklands, which was the operation to go in and attack the air bases in Argentine via Chile by an SAS team, which all went wrong for various reasons. But Red Riley was part of the backup plan for that, to get the guys out, etc. After some time, his stint in Special Forces flight was coming to an end, and he didn't see much on the horizon, and it was put to him by the colonel that they wanted to retain him at Hereford, and the suggestion was made that he take selection. And being 36 years of age, he thought this was a formidable prospect, but he went ahead with it, and he describes selection. This was following the Falklands, so it was early 83, January selection, and going through the hills phase and going through combat survival and so on, resistance to interrogation, and he's finally badged. But he's told that they're not sending him to one of the Sabre squadrons, but rather he's going to work in ops research and in counter-revolutionary warfare. And basically what they wanted him for was his flying expertise, and he was sent to British Airways and put through the simulator and the training to be a 747 captain. And this was for in the event of hijacks, that they could place an experienced captain who was also a Special Forces guy onto a flight. And he describes how that was done and the training and so on, and all the various options and kind of alternatives that they had to employ to cover all the bases of the different types of aircraft, and also realistic scenario exercises that they actually did, and lessons learned, such as not wearing a military watch, although a lot of pilots do wear very sophisticated timepieces, but not basic military watches. One of the things he describes is working in Sierra Leone with Fred Marafano. Fred Marafano was a legendary Fijian who had served in the SAS and ended up as a door gunner on a Hind helicopter flown by executive outcomes pilots, and basically they were the Air Force of Sierra Leone fighting the rebels over there. That was another interesting period. Red was then recruited by SAS and became one of a small group of pilots they had on the books that were able to fly a variety of airframes in support of SIS operations, mainly insertion and extraction of agents in various parts of the world, but also working with the Revolutionary Warfare Wing of at Hereford for the paramilitary options of SIS necessities in various parts of the world. One of the things he describes in a lot of detail is an operation to bring out an asset from Libya. And this gives you the title of the book because that was one of the codes used, Kisses from Nimbus. Really interesting book. Some people might find it unbelievable that somebody could do so many things, but Red Riley is well known within the regiment, and it's all authentic based on his own experience. It changes some of the names of the guys and sort of masks one or two other names, but it is apparent who he's talking about most of the time. I say, very interesting read, and it's probably a unique career.